The Wedding Favor, Part 16. Ella hurries through a quick shower and is out again before Damien is finished. Ella lingers in front of his door for a while, listening to the sound of running water. She stays there until she can't handle the imagery the sounds bring up anymore, and she hurries to the living room. The idea of sitting in that comfy-looking armchair and looking world is sounding mighty, mighty relaxing, and more appropriate than stalking Damien in the shower. It doesn't take long for Damien to come sauntering into the room, wearing something casual chic while rubbing his hair dry with a towel. Ella doesn't say anything, on account of the fact that all thought fled her mind at his appearance. Damien eventually notices her in the chair, and his face lights up with a smile. Ella's heart skips a beat, and for a moment she's flooded with hope and excitement for the future. Nothing in particular, just a general feeling of the future looking bright as long as Damien is there to smile at her. The feeling disappears when Damien's smile slowly slips away. "I'm sorry, Ella. I need to take care of something for a minute. The hair and makeup people should be on their way right now, so is it okay if I leave you in their capable hands? I should be back before they're finished." Ella agrees before she really processes what he has said. He smiles at her. The feelings of content stay away this time because Ella has realized she's going to be left alone with people paid to judge her appearance. "A friend found a rat in the building and he's downstairs waiting for me to help him hunt it down." "Rats? In this building?" Ella speaks before she can second guess herself. This place looks more expensive than anywhere Ella's been before. There's no way there are rats here. Damien grimaces, turns towards the door. "Rats find their way into everything. You need to take them out before they start breeding, or you'll be overrun in no time." He scrunches up his nose in disgust. Ella gets it. Getting rid of vermin is horrible, even if it's necessary. There's no time to discuss it further, because when Damien opens the door, two women are leaning on a white cart filled with drawers. He grins at them. The devil-may-care one he used to throw Ella's way too, instead of the small, sweet one he uses now, and greets them in fluid French. He kisses both of them on each cheek and waves them in. He then introduces Ella, thankfully, in English. "This is Ella, my girlfriend." Ella's heart jitters in her chest, and butterflies flutter in her stomach. Damien can definitely call her his girlfriend more often. She smiles and offers her hand to the redhead that's standing closest. Ella gets a wide smile in return, but the woman ignores her hand. Instead, she grabs Ella gently by the shoulders and gives her 2 kisses. "I am Francesca. Damien has told me so much about you. It's a pleasure to meet the girl who has taken his mind off of Amber." "Fran!" Damien looks at her with a glare, which she waves off without even looking. I know. No mentioning you know who. I'm only here to do hair." Her playful face turns serious as she glances over Ella's hair and touches one lock. "We'll have to start with some maintenance, but it is not that bad. Marie." Marie's name is the first word that has a French accent. The short girl bounces over when Francesca beckons her. "I think her skin will be quite easy to work with, no?" Marie nods and starts talking about cold undertones and which highlights and shadows she wants to use, and Ella is instantly lost. Francesca listens attentively and nods periodically. Surprisingly, so does Damien. He even interjects with a cobalt blue when they ask what color Ella's dress is. It sets the trio really, off on a rapid discussion of makeup and jewelry, with Ella standing there feeling like an awkward duckling. Ella refuses to feel bad about her ignorance. Her mother tried to make her care about all of this for literal decades, and it never stuck. This is not a failing on Ella's part. She just has other talents. Ella knows this, logically. Sometimes she just needs to actively remind herself of that fact to get her feelings in check. Usually that happens when her mother starts in on her. But apparently 2 well-dressed and done-up women discussing how to make her look prettier with the help of an attractive man also triggers her insecurities. The discussion is over in under a minute, all 3 agreeing on a look they're trying first. Damien smiles at Ella and pulls her in to kiss her forehead. "I'll be back before you know it. Fran and Marie will take good care of you." The women watch Damien as he saunters out of his living room with a wave. The moment the door closes behind him, Francesca turns to Ella with raised eyebrows and a slight smirk. "Let's dazzle your boy when he gets back, no?" Francesca keeps up a constant chatter as she starts on Ella's hair. Marie makes appropriate noises where needed while taking care of Ella's nails. She's the epitome of professionality. She doesn't even frown at Ella's flaking black nail polish or the oily residue that has left unremovable stains under Ella's nails. Marie just gets on with it and gets it clean while Francesca talks about the model show she worked in Venice where she met Damien. You work model shows? Not anymore. I do theater shows at a small place downtown now, way less stressful, and it gives me more artistic freedom. Francesca winks at Ella before shrugging and focusing back on her hair. And I come when Damien calls. He's the one that really pays the bills. Marie snorts. You make it sound as if he calls you often. She stops filing Ella's nails for a second to glance up pointedly. He calls once in a blue moon. He just pays that well. She continues her work. It's why we drop everything whenever he needs us. Francesca clicks her tongue at Marie. Excuse me? I'm here to help Damien, not for the money. A pointed silence in which Marie simply looks at her in disbelief. Okay, I'm here a little for the money, but I would have come even if he didn't pay me. She waves a finger at Ella. Damien is a good one. Don't lose him. Her face loses the stern expression almost immediately. Francesca just isn't made for intimidation. Her smile looks much more natural, but given that you caught Damien's attention by helping his uncle, I don't think you will. Ella freezes. He told you that? Marie scoffs. Yes, it was disgustingly sweet how he was gushing about it last year. I think he fell in love with you just from his uncle telling him how a little slip of a girl saved him from being stranded in the middle of nowhere at midnight. He denies it, of course, but I've known him long enough to see right through him. He doesn't wax poetic about the way someone drinks their morning coffee unless he wants to routinely drink it with them, if you know what I mean. Last year? Morning coffee? Ella blinks a few times, trying to make these things make sense. She only met Damien a week or so ago, and they haven't really drunk coffee together either. He couldn't have been talking about her a year ago. She did fix up the mobster's tires about 12 months ago, but Ella is certain she'd remember Damien being present for that. I don't think that can be right. We didn't even know each other back then. Francesca hums in agreement from behind Ella. She's busy braiding thin strands of hair at the back of Ella's head. Yeah, no. I only heard about Ella a few months ago when he came to see my rainfall show. It was right after the Big A fiasco. She leans over Ella's shoulder and whispers behind her hand. I'm not saying her name again, even if he isn't here. He has a way of knowing whenever that woman is mentioned, I swear. She moves back again when Ella quirks a little smile. So 5 or 6 months ago. Last winter counts as last year. Francesca and Maria debate the details of what qualifies as last year, Maria being a big proponent of counting wardrobe switches, but Ella only listens with half an ear. She's trying to make sense of Damien's friends, having heard about her before Ella and Damien had even met. 2 ideas pop up in her head immediately. Damien must have hired them as alibis or something, or they're doing it because Damien is their friend and they go along with his ploy. That doesn't really make sense, though, because why would they talk like this in front of her? They must know she's in on the fact she has not actually been dating Damien. That leaves the second option. Damien did know her before Ella went up to his uncle to ask for her favor. He knew her well enough to gush about her to his friends. It brings to mind some other instances that made Ella uncomfortable before, like how he knew where she lived, or how he had her number without her giving it to him. The intense way he sometimes stares at her. The longer Ella thinks on it, the colder she feels. She was under the impression he didn't know her before the meeting with Don Giovanni, and that he was forced into this thing because of her request. But it's starting to look like that wasn't the case. She was already on his radar, if what these women say is true. It taints every good moment they had before. It makes it feel like he has been playing her for a fool. She was enjoying his attention. She thought he was being a good pretend boyfriend. She was even starting to wonder whether he would be a good actual boyfriend. But what if this has all been a setup, and somehow Ella played right into his stalker tendencies and gave him exactly what he wanted? That's it. I'm done. Marie finishes Ella's makeup with a proud nod. When did she even start on Ella's face? Marie laughs as Ella blinks at her blankly. You zoned out pretty well there, didn't you? Ella moves a hand up to hide her heating cheeks, but Marie stops her. Don't touch your face too much. I put setting powder on, but it's not a plastic shield. It protects your makeup, but don't go wiping it off. Marie and Francesca offer up a pair of mirrors so she can see her complete look, and Ella almost doesn't recognize herself. She looks like a movie star. Her hair is in an intricate updo that she'll never be able to recreate, and her face is just as unachievable. There's only one thing she can say. Wow, I can't. How am I supposed to do this by myself? Francesca looks at her confused. What do you mean? This is just a trial. We'll do it for you at the wedding venue too. Or we can do something else if you think it's too much. Ella looks back at her, shaking her head slowly. No, this looks perfect. But you're coming? Yes. Damien asked us to join you on his plane. His plane? Francesca laughs. You didn't know he had a plane? Well, technically, it's his mother's, but she's been staying in London these last few years, so he can use it whenever he likes. Of course, Damien has a private plane he can use. What did Ella expect?